So, against my mother's best wishes, I chose 2 poems tonight. I thought since it was Valentine's Day, I would do love poetry, but really the only poetry book I own is by Lewis Carroll, and Lewis Carroll doesn't write a lot of love poetry, probably because he was socially awkward and had like a love life, which is maybe why I like him, because I relate. But after I scoured the book, I did find 2. So the first one, I'm not going to give much introduction to. It's called A Lesson in Latin. So it goes like this. Our Latin books in motley row invite us to our task. Gay Horace, stately Cicero, yet there's one verb when once we know, no higher skill we ask. This ranks all other lore above. We've learned amare means to love. So hour by hour, from flower to flower, we sip the sweets of life, till all too soon the clouds arise, and flaming cheeks and flashing eyes proclaim the dawn of strife. Amare, bitter one, we cry. Last night we owned, with looks forlorn, too well the scholar knows, there is no rose without a thorn. But peace is made, we sing this morn, no thorn without a rose. Our Latin lesson is complete, we've learned that love is bittersweet. And then the second poem is called, it's just called A Valentine. And I'm gonna give some introduction because it is a little confusing, but I did read up on it, like, get a good explanation of what the poem is about. It's not necessarily a love poem. It's about, Lewis Carroll is writing about his particular friend. Friend is not mentioned who it is, but he feels that there's always this, he feels like his friend always expects him to be really sad when he's not with his friend, and just like, oh, I miss my friend so much, and he's just always supposed to be depressed because they're not together. And he says, no, that's not how it's supposed to be. And so he uses a love affair, like a boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, husband, kind of relationship, and says that when they're away, they don't, and I guess this doesn't necessarily apply to the modern day when you can just text back and forth, oh, I miss you more, I miss you much, and that kind of creepy stuff. But back in Lewis Carroll's day, they couldn't text, and so what he says is when the lover misses his lover, he writes about his lover, and then he mails a letter, and so that's what it's about. So it goes like this. And cannot pleasures while they last be actual unless when past they leave us shuddering and aghast with anguish smarting? And cannot friends be firm and fast and yet bear parting? And must I then at friendship's call calmly resign the little all, trifling I grant it is and small, I have of gladness, and lend my being to the thrall of gloom and sadness? And think you that I should be dumb and full of dolorum omnium, excepting when you choose to come to share my dinner, at other times be sour and glum and daily thinner? Must he then only live to weep, who prove his friendship true and deep? By day a lonely shadow creep, at nighttime languish, oft raising in his broken sleep the moan of anguish. Whereas the lover, if for certain days his fair one be denied his gaze, sinks not in grief and wild amaze, but wiser wooer, he spends the time in writing lays and posts them to her. And if the verse flow free and fast, till even the poet is aghast, a touching Valentine at last the post shall carry, when 13 days are gone and past of February. Farewell, dear friend, and when we meet in desert waste or crowded street, perhaps before this week shall fleet, perhaps tomorrow, I trust to find your heart the seat of wasting sorrow. Thank you.